Insert creative intro here. The Justice League doesn't feel like very much of a team. They're all off living their own lives, some of them together, but none as a unit. When a submarine is mysteriously destroyed within the Mariana Trench, it's left to Cyborg to investigate. He's quickly attacked by the same thing that destroyed the submarine, and he calls on the Justice League to look into it further, as he and a number of other parties suspected that this was the work of the mythical Atlanteans. Meanwhile, dour misanthrope Arthur Curry just lost his father. He's depressed and has no direction in his life, but it eventually turns out that he's the half-breed son of the Atlantean Queen, and now that tensions are as high as they can be between the Atlanteans and the surface dwellers, she calls on her guard Mira to retrieve him from his home attending a lighthouse. Unfortunately, her son Orm is working with the mysterious Black Manta to provoke a war between the Atlanteans and the human race, and so sends assassins after Arthur to secure Orm the throne. After this attempt fails due to Mira's intervention, the Queen, Arthur and Orm's mother, reveals that she knew of both the assassination attempt and their attempt at tricking her into believing the humans attacked Atlantis using Atlantean cloaking technology. Even though she realizes this, and even though she's more powerful than them both, she's quite literally stabbed in the back, and so ends her reign. By the time Arthur and Mira get there, joined by the Justice League after they help fend off another attack, Orm has already assumed the throne and claimed that a surface dweller killed the Queen. However, he immediately reveals the truth to these strangers, captures them all, and throws them down to be eaten by Cthulhu. The Justice League escapes and intercept Orm and his minuscule army, like, seriously, how is this tiny force supposed to conquer the planet, where they do battle against Orm and his forces. While the Justice League deals well enough with the Mooks, they're unable to touch Orm himself, supposedly due to the power of the King's Trident, and each is summarily defeated. Even Arthur, who has the power to use the Trident as well, is defeated. It's only when Cyborg projects a recording of Orm's confession does Arthur gain the upper hand, convince the Atlanteans to stand down, and defeat Orm once and for all. Arthur assumes the role of King of Atlantis, joins the Justice League, the League agrees to meet more regularly due to the increasing number of large threats in both Darkseid and now the Atlantean invasion, and several relationships are consummated. Arthur and Mira, Superman and Wonder Woman, and Cyborg and the scientist who cares for keeping his parts running. A horde of undersea monsters approaches, and Aquaman charges into battle. Roll credits. If you couldn't tell by my asides during that encounter, one of the biggest issues is just with how everything is structured. You're gonna have to take my word that I didn't leave out any important details or add to the structure problems. When I said that Orm immediately confesses to killing the Queen, I wasn't kidding. Arthur finds her corpse, mourns for 3 seconds, and Orm floats in calling him a bastard, and then confesses right there on the spot.
Welcome, bastard.
Is Atlantis everything you dreamed of, brother? Or, in your dream, were you on the throne?
You killed her!
I did. I ran the sword through her myself as she mewled for peace.
When I said that, oh yeah, Black Manta and Orm attack Atlantis disguised as a human submarine, I wasn't kidding in it being that quick. When I said that, oh, the Queen gets stabbed in the back, again, it's really that quick and happens in those exact circumstances.
Get out of my way! This coup is over. I am Queen, and war is not in my plans.
But it is in mine.
However, in a rough hierarchy of badness, the structure barely cracks the top 3, though the 2 above it are pretty heavily linked. The worst aspects of this movie are the characters and the script, which is dialogue as well as exposition and pacing. I actually really liked Arthur Curry at the beginning of the movie. It was clear that he was down on his luck and had a lot of room for growth as a person, and I was totally into his story. Until Mara rescued him from assassins. Now before Pansy has accused me of something stupid, that Mara had to rescue him wasn't the bad part. But after that point, once Arthur wakes up after the attack, Arthur loses all of the attitude and characterization he had, and it's replaced by him just kind of going along with whatever the plot needs. He doesn't ever complete his arc of well, I actually don't know where they were going with him, to be honest. They get the very first part of him right, but from his initial characterization, they could have gone any number of different directions. And I wish they would have, as it would have made the movie much better. And unfortunately, the rest of the Justice League isn't any better, though I'll say that they also started out fairly strong. The opening Hal Jordan scene where he flirts with a woman is quick and enjoyable. The scene with Wonder Woman and Superman at the beginning as they look at the moon was wonderfully serene, though they emphasized the romance between them far too much for it being at the beginning of the movie. Literally, this is their introductions, and it has the direction of a final embrace kind of deal. And finally, Cyborg was actually really interesting to me. The prospect of ongoing storylines intrigued me. I am a sucker for shared universes, and especially long-form storytelling. Like, I was reading Warbreaker a few weeks back, and when Hoyd showed up and literally just spouted exposition, I was practically squeeing with glee. I love shared universes. And the opening bit with Cyborg is good for this being shared with the world of Justice League War and continuing the storylines past that, with him relaying bitterly that he's really the only member of a so-called Justice League, implying that the whole thing was kind of a publicity stunt, which I thought was an interesting idea. And then him just as bitterly rejecting his father's call, just as his father had done to him in the last movie. I mean, yeah, that was a really, really good scene. However, none of this goodwill really lasts that far, and that's entirely due to the awful dialogue. Say what you will about Justice League War, how it didn't allow for good characterization due to the pace, how all of the characters were some shade of asshole, or any number of its other problems, but at least the characters had chemistry. Antagonistic chemistry that did not work at all, but chemistry nonetheless. Every scene between the League members in Throne of Atlantis is extremely awkward. From Shazam's weird fascination with Cyborg's love life, to that really cringy date between Superman and Wonder Woman, to the bickering between Batman and Green Lantern, which, I want to point out, probably shouldn't be this antagonistic considering they actually had something of a heart-to-heart in the last adventure. As well, this movie has the obligatory Batman is awesome intro for him, as he pursues a couple of Scarecrow flunkies, and then the equally obligatory Batman can predict every future and knows about every event in the world line, where he knows about why Green Lantern came to get him already.
The League needs you.
This is about the missiles.
Lucky guess.
By the way, he accomplishes nothing in the movie. You could have easily taken him out entirely and nothing would have been missed. Solid. In fact, I could probably say that for every member of the Justice League. They have nothing to do with the plot and accomplish next to nothing in any of the action beats except for Superman beating up Cthulhu, I guess? Most of the time, they're playing catch-up to the Atlanteans' plans, and even when they do confront them at the final battle, they just fight a whole bunch of mooks and then can't do jack shit to Orm when they try. Like it or not, this is Arthur Curry's movie, but it refuses to stay focused on his storyline for more than 3 minutes at a time, which is absolutely infuriating. In much the same way that Son of Batman would be better without the Son of Batman, Justice League Throne of Atlantis would be better off without the Justice League. It would give the film more time to flesh out Arthur's story and give him a proper character arc where he lacks one now. It would let us really explore Atlantean culture and politics. It would let us flesh out the magic system that even one 20-minute episode of Young Justice does more with, by the way. And it might actually let the Queen have a character. Now, this woman does have a name, Atlanta, but she was so boring and stupid that I didn't bother to learn it as I watched. When she died, I actually had to turn to my brother, who was watching it with me, to ask her name so I could write it down in my notes that the scene had good music. And on that really quick, why is every Atlantean so stupid? The Queen turns her back to the guys who obviously want power and gets killed for it. Never mind that it's kind of outrageous that there would be so little love between mother and son. Black Manta gives an evil speech to Aquaman while he's manhandling him, which was unprompted by the way, and then doesn't even get to finish before Arthur calls Jaws to kill him. And yeah, that's Jaws, because even great white sharks aren't that big. Hooray, one of our two main villains was killed in a comedic bit. Yay. Finally, Orm just outright tells the League that he killed the Queen immediately, unprompted and without resistance, even when he took the time to spread the lie that it was a surface dweller to the Atlantean populace. I just don't get it. And I mean, I could also bitch about how Orm really has no reason to invade the surface world other than greed, but if we're being real here, that would be a low-hanging fruit, because it's just so obvious. And I could also mention the questionable cuts and action beats like this. this,
First. Looks like it's been ransacked.
That's not all. Someone destroyed Shin's life's work.
or this. I could point out that they don't show Superman waking up when Aquaman frees him from his pod, or how bad the Cthulhu fight looks, or how weak the Justice League is in this movie compared to the last one, which is going to make it really funny later when the Atlanteans are steamrolled so easily by Doomsday, which apparently happens in one movie, and I could go on and on and on. But ultimately, it doesn't even really matter. At the end of the day, Justice League Throne of Atlantis bored me. It bored me pretty much from start to finish with bad characters, atrocious dialogue and editing, underwhelming action scenes, pitiful power scaling, and an incomplete arc for its main character who it had trouble even focusing on. Whether that speaks to them having no ideas for how his character should be going forward, or for their misguided attempt at pushing this Justice League narrative, I'm not sure. But I do know that they should have stuck to either an Aquaman movie or a Justice League movie. Both was obviously too much to handle. The only thing that this movie does better than even something like Justice League War, which was just a big action scene with largely unlikable characters, is that this movie had a decent score. Specifically a lot of scenes with Arthur Curry, and especially the scene where he finds his mother's corpse. Other than that, I mean, at least Mira and Wonder Woman weren't objectified for no reason this time. That's a plus, I guess. Yeah, we're moving on. Let's get back to the bad movies so I can just bitch a lot.